And welcome back to the Factor Uncensored. Tonight, we're talking about recipes and just how valuable they are and their intellectual property. Now, there is a 50-year-old man who has been identified as Carlos Marquez in Florida. He was a line cook at a Venezuelan styled restaurant. And of course, according to investigators, he was caught on camera before leaving that restaurant to take another job. He was caught on camera stealing three different recipe books. And his idea, according to investigators, was to take those recipes to his new job at a new restaurant in Orlando, Florida, but he ended up being arrested. Now, what I didn't realize just how valuable those recipes are to various restaurants around the country. Joining us now here on the Factor Uncensored, we have with us KRIV, who is a restaurateur and owner of the Fieldings concept, including Fieldings, River Oaks, Fieldings, Wood Grill, and Fieldings Local in the Woodlands. Glad to have you here on the Factor
Hey,
Uncensored. So
good.
forgive me for being so ignorant about the restaurant business, but I
Sure.
didn't realize just how valuable those recipes are to you guys.
Yeah. So at Fieldings and all the restaurants I've ever worked at, the restaurants are painfully worked through ingredient by ingredient, tested again and again, designed for the guests coming into the market, into the restaurant. So it's a lot of time and energy and money that goes into developing the restaurants and the recipes.
And Carrie, it's my understanding you have traveled the world
I have.
looking for the correct recipe, not taking someone else's recipes, but ingredients, getting ideas from other places where you
That's right.
create your own and it becomes your intellectual property.
That's correct. So Adele, Adalberto Gonzalez, and I have traveled quite a bit looking for ingredients and ideas. And of course, emulation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Mhm.
However, no one can ever do what the original recipe at the original restaurant once done, right? So they're going to not be able to do it for a variety of reasons: cultural reasons, business ethics reasons, cost. And so, what we do is when we travel, we look and find an item or a dish, and then we turn it into our own dish with our own spin on it, if you will.
But you're not going into their safe or their vault like Coca-Cola and stealing the Coca-Cola recipe.
No,
You know,
no,
they've
no.
had that for decades under lock and key.
Yeah, and people have tried to copy Coke time and time again unsuccessfully. And we don't try to copy people's dishes per se. We want to use their idea as a jumping off point. And of course, we don't get their original recipes. We don't ask for original recipes because we don't want to be having our guests say, hey, let's go to the original restaurant and have
Right.
it because it's better. Now, in the case of our situation in Florida, that guy's accused of taking three restaurant manuals, right? So he
Mhm.
not only took the ingredients, he took the cooking methods and the pictures and the plate up ingredients, everything. And that can happen in the restaurant business because there is turnover in the kitchen. And we do everything we can to make sure that it doesn't happen. And some restaurants have even gone to having just iPads in the kitchen where you have to log in and you can read the recipe on the iPad. And the iPad is in a secure steel case on a private network. So
Wow,
people
I
take
had
it
no
very
idea.
seriously. Yeah, very seriously.
And so the
Yeah.
old idea of lock and key, that is now the form of lock and key to make sure your restaurant and your recipes are safe and your property.
Yeah, and so in the case of Fieldings, as an example, our corporate executive chef and co-founder, Adele Gonzalez, puts an immense amount of time and energy into researching and tasting and testing each recipe so that it has a Fieldings twist on the dish or a Fieldings view on the dish. And just as an example, I'll tell you, as our steaks in all three of our restaurants, we grill over pecan or post oak wood, and it gives it an incredible flavor. And we have no problem saying that because not everyone's going to go out and put in a special wood burning grill and special wood burning hood and go to all the energy of doing wood fired foods.
Mhm.
And so, you have to share some of that stuff with your guests so they know what they're eating, and helps the marketability of those dishes. And at the same time, you don't want to give away. We have a proprietary rub called Fielding Spice Rub, and we don't. Well, we'll tell you what's in it. We won't tell you the quantities that are in it.
There you go. You got to keep something a secret so it can remain your property and keep people coming in, like you
That's
said,
right.
for those original recipes and the taste that they will only get from your restaurant.
Yeah.
Carriatar from Fieldings in the Woodlands, Fieldings River Oaks, Fielding Local. We appreciate your time here on The Factor Uncensored, and I'm sure people will go out and taste your steaks. Thank you for joining
Thanks,
us here on the
Isaiah.
Factor Uncensored. Thank you, sir, and keep those recipes safe. And we'll be back with more Factor Uncensored in just a moment.